On the left, we have a very iconic pen, the Mont Blanc 149, retail cost, $700. On the right, we have this bit of a knockoff, the Jinhao X159, retail cost about $7. Can you get a pen that's almost as good as this $700 behemoth for a fraction of the cost, 1/100th of the price? No way, are you kidding me? But you do get something else that's quite impressive. Here's another very beautiful, high-end, expensive pen. But one thing with this pen and most other pens is the nib size. It's a number 6 size nib. Only my 149 has a big nib on there, the number 9. This little Jinhao, for the whopping $7-8 you pay, that has a number 8 nib. And I gotta tell you, I don't know a cheaper way to get a number 8 nib, even though it is in steel. But for $8 with a pen, are you kidding me? I had to get one of these. So let's go through this and I'll tell you what it's all about. Put your hopes down right out of the way. It's not almost as good as the 149 for a fraction of the cost, but it's not too bad, half bad for $7. So let's chat about that. But it's not so much what this pen is that excites me. It's what this nib is and what this could mean coming our way down the line in the, who knows, maybe kind of near future. But let's go through the pen and I'll talk more about that in just a moment. So as you can see, this dimensionally is exceptionally close to the real deal, to the Mont Blanc 149. The previous version, the regular 159, was a metal body pen, had a lacquer coating on top with a number 6 steel nib. The new updated version, the X159, it's full plastic, so it's an injection molded acrylic. And you can see side by side here where the bands are. I mean, yes, the center band's different, but very close clip and sort of everything else. Of course, no logo on the top. I'm glad they're not going that far. They're just going, hey, look, we're making a pen look just like the 149. And my camera, focus, you damn thing. I think it's an overall improvement to the pen. The weight is a little bit better. The build construction, there's a few features I saw on here. Let's put this over here. As a pen itself, for this price range, there are some other pens available that I think are probably a little bit better. Let's run through this. And like I said, for this price, getting a big nib, number 8 steel nib, is pretty remarkable. So as you can see here, screw cap. Now this is one thing I find kind of odd. This is a bit of an iconic thing with the 149, the nice feature. One rotation, bam, cap is off. So that makes it like a good signature pen. You just pop the cap, sign, pop it back on. So great pen for that. The 159, sorry, the X159 is 1, 2, 3 full turns, which I'm a little bit surprised at because this is injection molded. So you can do your multi-start, you get all sorts of options, but they just decided to go a lot more on the threading. So I find that kind of weird because 3 turns is a fair amount for a pen. If you zoom in here on the section, you can see it's, where is the seam here? There's the seam right there. So there's a separate seam here in the section because it unscrews from the main body. And if we're looking on the body here, I mean, the polish is okay, but there you can see the seam running through the body and into the threads. Of course, on the high-end pen with their resin, you're not going to see that, but the attention to detail is pretty darn good. So you can see here at the end, they have that little flare out and that little texture. Well, that's because the real deal has that as well. Now, dimensionally, it's a little bit different, but very similar feature. This kind of goes into that main body. I believe this is just injection molded into the outer casing, and then the nib and feed unit just screw into that. So that's purely there to obviously give it the look. Now let's, this damn thing. You can see size-wise, you know, number 9 nib is significantly larger still, but that's still a pretty big nib. Let's put you next to another number 6 nib. So here's a Bach number 6 nib, something probably a lot of viewers have. You can see that number 8 nib is quite a bit bigger. And one of my motivations for this was, you know, I'm thinking of 3D printing my own pen. Let me reach over and show you an example. Here it is here. So this was given to me by Maya Furlong from the Vancouver Pen Club at our last pen meeting. She knows I am yearning for an OMAS 360. This is obviously not an OMAS 360, but she came across it. It had that kind of shape. And, you know, relatively low cost. I forget. Oh, it's a pop cap. Yeah. I'm going to do a review on this and go through it with you. But she said, you know, for a few bucks, nice little gift. She's a very thoughtful person. This will, you know, can have hold this pen in my hand until maybe one day I get the real deal. So that was super thoughtful. But the second I got it, you know, I was like, hey, I've been wanting to get some dimensions for starting off my first 3D printed pen. The OMAS 360 is sort of the pen shape I'm going for. So this is great. It gives me a lot of ideas. But I thought, wait a second, wouldn't it be cool if I'm going to do it, because I'm going to have to build the whole pen, is put a cool nib on it. So this 159, this X159 here, I thought I can just take the whole nib and feed unit out of this sucker and put that into my 3D printed pen. So I thought that'd be pretty cool. That was my motivation really for getting this pen. But we'll go along. A few things about the pen. So rattly. The second you grab it, you can feel the rattle and sort of the boing, the little bit of a vibration that's running through the body. Obviously, on the real deal over here, that's not happening. Sorry about the squeaky chair here, folks. So yeah, that's the overall construction. Like, again, it's so-so for this price point. There's got the band here in the back, but it's not quite even. On one side, it's nice and smooth. The other one, it's got a bit of an edge on it. So yeah, it's okay. It's the build quality is in line for $7. But where the exception is made is again, I said it before, this nib. So here you got your cartridge converter set up. One thing is quite an improvement is these threads. I have been bitching and moaning about these threads, metal threads on plastic bodies. One is there's no depth stop, and two, the profile is too aggressive. Nice and smooth. They actually they did a great job on there. Another thing is it's kind of odd. They do have this O-ring in here, if you can see that. So I don't think this is for eyedroppering the pen and sealing it. What I think it's for is the wall thickness on here isn't overly wide. So going into the bottom here, you know, when you screw it down, there is a potential for over torquing the pen, over tightening, and then you could crack it. So what I think the O-ring is there is simply for, it's just a little bit of a tactile feel. So when you're going down, you feel that resistance. And so you know, okay, don't go too much more, then you feel it stop, and that's all you do, instead of potentially just coming in a little too aggressive. So I think that's what that's for. I don't think it's meant to be eyedropper, this pen, but it sort of gives a tactile response of, hey, don't over tighten the pen. So that's a nice touch. So yeah, the overall quality of it is, you know, it's a $7 injection molded pen. If there was no such thing as a Mont Blanc 149, I don't think people would be going totally crazy for this pen. I think there's a lot of hype just because it obviously looks like a very expensive pen. And I don't know, are people hoping they're going to get something just as good or pretty close to almost there for $7-8? I mean, come on. Of course you're not. But you're getting a decent performer. And again, like I said, that big nib on there. The polish isn't too bad. The top finial here on mine, it came like that, kind of patchy and not so polished. The rest of the body was not too bad. It's not perfect, but it's pretty reasonable. The stamping is decent on here. No burrs on here. So yeah, the build quality is pretty decent. No super outstanding features or things I thought I would really point out that are super exciting. But it is, again, if you're thinking of dropping money and getting this pen here, it would sure be nice if you could get something for $7-8 and give this a try. Or if you just flat out go, I'm never going to spend that money on the pen. I think that's ridiculous, which it is. I didn't spend that money either. I got it for a fraction of that price, very small fraction. You know, if you just want to have a pen that's large like that and sort of get the feel of it, this provides that as well. Is the quality there? Is the whole experience there? No. But let's roll through. And what I'm going to do next is, actually, let me just take it out right now. I'm going to get ink on my fingers, but that's okay. I'm going to take the nib and feed out. I'll show you that. And then I'm going to get you some real up close points here on the nib. There's a few little flaws I caught, but I have to tell you the polish on this nib is super, super good. So I'm going to take this out just to show you how that goes together, and then I'll get out the microscope, get you up nice and close. Whole nib and feed unit come as one. It unscrews here from the main body. It looks like that might be even a little bit of an insert in there. I'll look at it closer here off camera. But yeah, so you got a few parts. They go together. You can see the other O-ring down here. There is an O-ring here at the end of the section there as well to help everything seal up and be good. So yeah, the overall quality is not too bad. They got the stamping there for the Jinhao logo. And so this, you know, when I'm going to design my pen, this is it. I'm going to take all the dimensions. off. It's so tough to do this through the camera. There we go. This is going to be the guts, what I'm going to design my whole pen around. It's going to be this, take my dimensions and all that, put that into my drawing software, and then it's going to be encompassing a body around here that's going to sort of look like an OMAS 360, and I'll be using this for reference. So that's essentially the main reason I bought this, was these bits that you see here. But overall, yeah, those go together quite well. Ink delivery seems to keep up. The nib, relatively smooth. I'm going to put this back in, get you up close to the nib, and then we'll write. And then I'll give you a few thoughts where I am a little disappointed. I think there was a big missed opportunity with this. So here we are up and close to the nib. It's built quite well, but I did notice the slit seems to be off center. You can see the right tine looks a little bit wider. Sorry, the left tine is wider than the right tine. So I think that slit is just off center a little bit. I'll scroll down here so we can see. You see it doesn't go through the center of that stamp, and it also could be a combination where I couldn't quite tell, but it seemed like maybe the stamp is off center as well. This is the first release of this nib, so I'm assuming this will be corrected over time. But you can see the work on there is quite nice. It's very clear. The stamping, the pattern, the pretty stuff they do in the nib there looks good. There's the Jinhao logo. Everything's really top notch, super clear. I think they've done a great job on this. This is pretty good for first release. I am curious to see what this is going to look like, in the months to come, and the other pens that will be coming as well. Let's flip it over. We'll show you what the tip looks like. It's tough to get proper lighting, and especially when it's so reflective. The polish on that tip point is really good. There's no baby's bottom whatsoever. It's really nice. The writing experience is quite smooth. This microscope is very sensitive when you're holding things. But yeah, very happy. The writing experience is good. They can also grind that down to be a fine or extra fine. If they call this a fine, but it writes sort of like a medium. You'll see in the writing sample. A little bit, not as refined on the bottom side of the nib, but to be fair, maybe I should compare other nibs just to see what quality it looks like. But you can see that slit looks like it's off center, just a touch, but the tipping is spot on. So here we have the Jinhao X159. Now the nib on my pen needed a little bit of an adjustment. The tines were just a bit too close. It would sort of keep up, but on faster strokes, that's where this mango chutney, it really just tells you the story. If you can, scratch that out very fast, same something like minimum. And I'll do it like that, so kind of fast strokes, looping one way, looping the other. When I was doing my mango chutney, on the C, it would sort of skip a bit. So like a quick loop, it would miss just a hair. So then I really started taking a look and inspected the tines, and yeah, they were a little bit tight. So it just took me maybe, 1-2 minutes, just a little slight adjustment. And now this pen writes really well. The ink delivery keeps up. And I have to say, very smooth nib. I'm actually pretty surprised by that polish, as I mentioned. Writing experience is decent. However, the packaging, I feel, is a bit of a missed opportunity. So let me talk about my likes, dislikes on the pen, a little bit of a missed opportunity, but something I am also super excited, and it's what this nib means, what I think could be coming our way, because this is a really big deal. So what I like on the pen are just the overall feel of it when it comes to the writing. It feels okay in the hand. You can tell it's not an overly expensive pen. It does rattle, all that kind of stuff. The 3 turns to take the cap off. I find it a little bit silly they did that. But it does feel very similar as far as dimensionally in the hand as my 149. The feel in the hand is endlessly different. I like the number 8 nib. That's a big one. But what I think they sort of missed out on was a really sort of golden opportunity. Because lately I've been seeing pens like this here, and I'm bumping the tripod nonstop. This is the Mangeon A1. The pen's so nice I bought it twice. I'm going to have a video on that because this was the first one I got. I don't have a vanishing point yet. I thought, let's try one of these out first. It was super, super affordable. And I got them. I'm blown away. And so I got this other one because I'm thinking about getting this color in the real palette vanishing point. This pen blows my mind. It's so good. I'm going to do a review on it. But I understand this is $7 and this is like $30, $35. I think to release this pen. This is a big deal, coming out with a number 8 nib. You're not just taking your same bits that you've always used and just put it into a new body. That's sort of one thing that has disappointed me with Jinhao a bit, is it's just the same internals with a slightly different casing. I can only do so many pens like that. But when I see a pen like this, yes, it is a copy of a Pilot Vanishing Point, but they did a good job of it. So if you're going to copy this design so close, come on, do a little bit of a better job. This is a seriously heavy hitter pen. And I feel, I don't know, you should have just done a different design if you're not going to go the extra distance. And I think if they put this pen out for that, $35 price point, if you can get this for $35, I would have loved to have seen what this could be for $35. And I get some people want the ultimate cheap pen, $7. That's amazing. There's lots of other pens around this price point. The Jinhao 51A, which is also another copy to the Parker 51. I think that pen is executed a little bit better than this one, to be totally honest with you. But, for me, it's not about a race to the bottom. You come out and display to the world, hey, we have this number 8 nib that's pretty damn good at this price point. Maybe it was just to get it out the door kind of quick. I don't know, or make it affordable to everybody. Maybe that was what it was about. But I would love to have seen just gone a little bit further, especially if you're going to make this model pen, and this is what it clearly is intended to look like. Come on, give us a little bit more to up the quality, just to go, hey, that's actually not too bad, especially when I've seen what Moonman Mahjong here has done with their version of the Pilot Vanishing Point. So I'm not overly excited with the pen overall. It's just fine on its own. It's great. There actually are some more colors now available, like dark blues and I think like a burgundy or maroon color. So that's kind of neat. But it's the same pen, just different color. That doesn't excite me at all. But what is interesting, I don't think this is going to be the first nor the last time we're going to see this nib. I am excited to see maybe they will come out with some other pens, the $30-$40 price point range, which would be great. Same with like the Wing Sung 699, which is a copy of the Pilot 823. It's around that same price point. Fantastic pen, for that price. So I'm hoping we're going to see this nib and feed and, cartridge converter setup on some other bodies. And I am hoping to see we have something that come out a little bit of a higher price point, but you're getting better execution for that. What I'm super interested in is, if you're going to go through all this work and do it at this price, could you do a gold nib? Like a legit 14K gold nib, size 8, on an appropriately priced pen? I would love to see that. And that's where I'm curious to hear from everyone here who is watching. Would you be interested if one of these manufacturers, whether it's Jinhao or Mahjong or whoever, come out with a premium pen with a number 8 14K gold nib? I'm curious if there's a market for that, because I have a feeling my videos get watched because sometimes I make recommendations and then I see a pen on AliExpress a couple months later. And there's even some pictures that point out some stuff where on the previous pens there was a fault or a flaw. And I've seen close-ups, and there was even arrows showing, hey, look at this new feature. So anywho, I'm curious. I would actually like to see a unique design is one. A unique design. Come up with something. Maybe there is a piston fill. Maybe it's a vac. Whatever it is. And go, here is a great quality pen. And whatever that price has to be, I don't know. Maybe it has to be for gold nib, number 8, piston fill, not cutting corners and just actually delivering a premium pen. Like a pen like that in the market right now, if you had a number 8 gold nib premium pen and performed exceptionally well and the build quality was through the roof, that would be easily $500-$600. So maybe half that price or a quarter of that price, would you be willing to pay for one of these manufacturers if it passed the Doodlebud test? If I took this thing apart and it landed on my desk and it was, let's say, $250 or $300, but it had all those features, and I went, holy cow, this is one hell of a pen. Would you be willing to give that a try? Is there a market for that? I'm curious, because this, to me, has changed everything. The build quality on these is exceptional. The writing experience is great. The 699 is pretty good. This, to me, just wows me. So what is available? These manufacturers are obviously capable of copying other designs and doing a pretty good job when, you know, you throw a few more dollars at it. What about a few more dollars? If you went further, the $100, $200, or $300 price point, if it was delivered. So I'd love to hear from you in the comments, and maybe other people watching would. Who knows? Would you be willing to give that a shot? Love to hear from you on that one. So at the end of the day, are you getting something that's almost as good as a Montblanc 149 for $8? No, but you're getting a pretty decent pen for that price, and a number 8 nib, and half decent construction. Like I said, maybe a little bit of a missed opportunity, but I'm excited to see what's coming up next. So thanks for watching there. Hit subscribe if you haven't. Got lots of fun stuff coming up, but that's it for now. Catch you next time.